In this episode, we are joined by James Welch. We had a remarkable conversation about his journey to become a successful individual.
Remarkable is an understatement. He talks about how he got robbed by his business partner, went through a divorce, and went through the Great Recession of 2008 all in a short period.
I mean, listening to his story of overcoming all these obstacles by getting hypnotized is a conversation that you do not want to miss. We'd really appreciate it if you guys left a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you guys enjoyed the episode. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, welcome to the show, James.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure to be here. I mean, Matt Fry in our past episode talked so much about you, so we're glad to have you on and hear your story. One of the things like the most crucial points in your life, I feel like, is like high school and college. And I really feel like it constructs you as a person. Like that's where you really become an adult. So could you just talk about like what it was like for you coming out of high school? Like what was your mindset? What maybe some of your goals you had? And then what you plan to do after you graduate high school and throughout college?
Okay, yeah, high school is a good place to start because as soon as you get that diploma, right, as soon as you graduate, everybody's at square one. We're all starting at the start line at the same time, and what you make of yourself from there going forward, that's on you, right? So no more blaming your parents or blaming your environment or, hey, I didn't have this growing up. Okay, you've got a diploma. You're going to go out in the real world. What you make of it, now you get to own that. So that's a really good place to start because in high school, I had some pretty big dreams. I was kind of excited to be done with high school because I hate to say it, fellas, I had no business being there. Not because, how there's those people that are, they're super intelligent and they were just bored with high school and they just, it was just kind of beneath them. No, man, school was hard. I didn't get it. Like I'm not sitting in the classroom and having somebody, teach and for me to learn, like it, for whatever reason, it was not sinking in and I wasn't getting what I needed from high school just to feel like I could go out and conquer the world. But I felt like I had something to contribute that I think that once I got past high school, I could kind of make my own path. And to be honest, guys, I wanted to coach Division I basketball. So this is kind of odd because this wasn't in the family. Wasn't the family business. This was just a dream. I had nothing to base this off of but blind faith. Like, hey, I'm going to be a Division I basketball coach at a very high level and be successful. So this is what I'm going to do. So I kind of blazed a path to go to Colorado because I had a cousin that lived there. And I just needed an excuse to get out of town, right? So when I'm in, the town that you grow up in, you kind of need to spread your wings a little bit and have a chance to grow up and see how the world works. And that's what I needed from moving out of the town that I grew up in. Going to Colorado Springs was a chance for me to do that. And I had a golden opportunity because there's a Division II school there, the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. All right, a good place for me to start. I actually had reached out to the basketball coach there. I said, hey, I want to coach basketball. This is what I want to do. I don't have any experience. I have nothing here to offer you, but I can guarantee you I will give you my all type thing. So I actually had a resume that I had filled out. I had, letters of recommendation, and I give it to the head coach. Hey, look, here's some stuff that says I'm a really good guy. I'm sitting across from this head coach trying to convince him to give me an opportunity to be part of his staff. He looks at my resume, he holds it up, and he crumples it up and throws it away. Doesn't even look at it. And I'm like shocked. I'm like, hey, I spent some time on that. What are you doing? And he's like, what do I need that for? Is there anything in there that's going to say you're a bad guy? Did you go to all your best friends and tell them to write, nice things about you? Yeah. He goes, all right. He goes, what? Because I don't need that. I can look at you and tell that you're a good guy. Let's see what we can do here. He goes, yeah, you want to move out to Colorado Springs? You want to come out here and be a basketball coach? I'll give you some jobs to do. We'll figure it out. Great. Okay. High school's over. Had no business being there anyway. No business being in a classroom. Get me in the real world. Let's see what I can do. Because this is now I'm on the path, right? There's a path that we can get on. And if you stay on it long enough, some really good things can happen. I'm like, I just got my start. This is great. Goodbye to mom and dad. Hey, thanks for everything. I got to move away and I got to see what I can do here. So here's how, that's where my story, my life begins, because as life goes on, you pivot, 2 or 3, 4, times in your life, and you go different directions. But at this point in my life, guys, I tell you what, the best time I've ever had in my life. This is where I grew up the most. This is where I learned how the world worked. This is where I learned how to go grocery shop, how I learned how to, take care of myself. There's a real value to that. And whatever you get from that, it's just an invaluable time, really fun time too. So I'm going to wrap up this story because it's actually short. I spent 3 years in Colorado Springs, learned a lot about basketball. I had my focus. I had my dream. I was learning. I was coaching. I was recruiting. I was scouting. I'm living the dream, right? This is as good as it gets. Now the first hiccup comes, right? Now the first punch in life is gonna hit me on the chin. The head coach quits. Like he kind of retires. Like he'd been there a while and he was thinking about doing something else in his life. So he's like, hey, I'm not going to be here next year. Oh, okay. Well, geez, now what? This is kind of important. During this time, mind you, I'm actually enrolled in school, going to school. I don't know for what or why, because I know if I want to be a head basketball coach, I have to have a degree. I mean, so I go to get my, meet with my counselor, ask the question, what is the easiest degree I can get at this university? What's the quickest, easiest route? I don't even care what it is. She goes, I don't know, what communications? Great, I'll be a communications major. So I'm taking those classes, passing barely, I don't know. But now I'm at that point and the coach is like, he's not going to be here next year. I'm not done going to school and I'm in no man's land. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. This is changing fast. And I didn't have any other options. I didn't see where the path was going to go from there. Now, my dad was a real estate appraiser. And he'd been an appraiser for 30 years. That was his life's work. And just to backtrack a little bit, I kind of worked for him a little bit in high school. It's like my after school job. And he would say, hey, this could all be yours one day. You could be doing this. Now, my dad worked in the spare bedroom at our house. I'm like, what could be mine one day? What? What is this? This is nothing. And I didn't get it, right? And he's like, no, you can be a real estate appraiser. Like, are you nuts? No way am I getting into real estate appraising. That's good for you, Dad. I'm going out to be a college coach here. All right. So then 3 years later, I'm at a crossroads in my life. I'm not sure where to go or what to do from here. I kind of lost my path. And I hate to say, this is a huge regret in my life because I got off the path that was taking me to the one thing I really wanted. So I called my dad and I said, I'm in Colorado. I remember it. I call him up. I go, hey, how about I come back and become a real estate appraiser? My dad's like, yeah, sure, great. Come on home. Of course, my parents, my mom, they're thrilled. And I kick myself because that was the easy route, right? That was the family business. That was always going to be there. That was my safety net. And instead of figuring out what the next harder step would have been to continue on the path of coaching, I got off the road. And I regret that. That was stupid. Why did I do that? I wish somebody would have slapped me in the head and go, are you an idiot? No, there's other coaches out there. There's other schools. You can find something else. You can do this. But I didn't. So, kind of getting back to your original question, in high school and college, yeah, these are formative years, right? This is where sometimes we make really smart decisions and sometimes we do stupid things. That was a stupid thing I did. Now, did it work out in my life? Are things good now? Yeah. I can't complain, right? I look around, my life's pretty awesome. But I always wonder when I'm watching NC State playing basketball. I could have been me on the sideline coaching. I could have been there with the Wolfpack, or whatever school it might have been. So yeah, that's that's kind of my high school, college, career wrapped up right there for you.
Yeah, so you mentioned how you felt like you had no place being in school, especially in high school, and you went to college because you needed that degree for the path you wanted to go. I guess like how for someone who feels like they have no place in school, and if the path that they want to do, like if that can involve not going to school, which is that something that you think like is the right option, or do you think it's necessary by all means?
Oh my God. All right, guys, listen to me and really, really listen hard. If you can delay going to school, do that for as long as possible. You are at a perfect time right now to thoroughly enjoy your life, right? There's only certain gaps in your life where it's okay to goof off and lose yourself from responsibility, right? When you graduate from high school, you graduate from college, if that was your route, when you're in this phase in your life and you can find an excuse to, travel the world, so you can scrape up a few bucks and you can get on a plane and go someplace else and spend, some time, a week, a month in other parts of the world. That's what you need to do. And you will learn more about yourself in a short amount of time than any other part of your life. I promise you that. I've had some vacations in my life where I've gone to Australia, Paris, London, and I've taken these trips by myself, right? By far the best vacations I've ever had. I've been on vacations with family and friends and the wife and the kid, doing these types of vacations where I got to explore the world. I got to set my own agenda, the most valuable times in my life. To answer your question, Sam, no, school's not for everybody. No, you shouldn't go. If you're going to go, it needs to be purposeful, right? Okay, so if you know what you have a direction in your life, you have a point that you're looking at, and this is the road you want to go on. For me, I was going to be a college coach. They don't hire college coaches unless you have a degree. Dang it. Okay, I guess I got to go to school and figure out how to get a degree. But going to school is not figuring out how much you can learn. It's about working the system. All right, that's some really good advice I got when I was at college. I was passing my classes. I actually had a fairly good GPA. Didn't learn a thing. Couldn't even tell you what I learned the day before. Didn't even matter. There's people there to help you. There's study groups. There's counselors. There's advisors. There's a big support group there if you tap into it. Can help you succeed at college. Great. I just needed that ticket at the end, my diploma, to get me to my next step. Now, that's not for everybody. That, if you're going to go to school, it has to be purposeful. Don't waste your time or money to go to school to find yourself and I'll just figure it out then. Well, no. Go to Australia and figure it out there. I'd much rather, spend my time in Paris looking at the Eiffel Tower, deciding what my life's purpose is. I don't want to go to school and spend time and money to figure out who I am and which direction I need to go. If you can delay that, sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 2 years to figure it out, if school's right for you. So not for everybody, but if you're going to do it, boy, it better be purposeful. You better have the right plan in place.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I can definitely relate to that, at least in high school. Like when I was going to high school, I didn't really see like much that I was learning out of it. And when I was going to class, I was like, okay, let me see what I can do, the bare minimum that I can do to get a good grade in this class. And if it means I don't learn anything, but I get a B and my parents are happy, then I'm going to do that for any class. And most of the class I wasn't interested in the first place. So it's like, okay, I can just learn on my own time and just show up to school and just try to get the bare minimum that I can.
Perfect example. That's right. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So transitioning from college, and then so you're in Colorado and you decide you're a coach, and then you're like, okay, this isn't working out, and you go back to move and work for your family. So what was the growth of you like starting with your family and then realizing that, okay, you like doing this and you want to do it long term?
Yeah. So now I'm at a point where I'm just a little bit older in my life and realizing, okay, there's some bills that need to be paid. I need to have a career that's going to allow me to live a certain lifestyle that I want. And I really value the jobs that you're rewarded for as hard as you work, right? If I work extra hard, well, I want extra money. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna put forth the hours, if I'm gonna work late, if I'm gonna, work on a weekend, well, I'd like to see that, show up in my paycheck at the end of the month type thing. So that appealed to me from the family business standpoint. And the family business, mind you, it's just my dad. Actually, my mom worked for him for a bit of time. Oh, truthfully, my sister actually worked for, in high school as well. It was a family business. But when I was looking back to it, I convinced myself that this was the right move to get away from basketball, to go into real estate appraising, because this was something I could make my own, right? I can blaze my own trail here. I can make my mark on the world here, because if I'm going to do it, guys, I'm going to do it awesome, right? I'm not going to just be another appraiser in town. No, I'm going to be the best appraiser in town. I'm going to be one of the 1%ers. I'm going to make the most money. I'm going to shine a star here, and I'm going to dominate. That was my mindset. And, you have the ability, or had the ability, to grow the company. So there's plan here for, in my mind, that, hey, I can make this to what I want. I don't just have to work in the spare bedroom of my house. I can have an office. I can have a staff. I can really, turn this into a company rather than just, working for, myself in the bedroom type thing. So the cycle of that is this. It takes about 2 years to get trained and licensed, or it did at that time. And so for 2 years, I'm just learning the business, because I didn't really know it. I had to be trained. My dad was training me. And then I had to get, take all the state's classes and take the state's test and get licensed, be legit, be real. And I did that. Great. So 2 years go by, take the test, got my license, and now I'm ready to go. Got tons of energy. I'm ready to conquer the world. And my dad is kind of, he's been doing this forever. And he's like, hey, you go ahead. We still work together, but go ahead, go get more clients, go get more business, go ahead and grow the company. Great. Here I go. Let's do that. So that was the plan for a while. And this is where Matt kind of comes into play. Wasn't shortly thereafter, our paths crossed, and he started working with me, and things started happening. Things, sure enough, slowly started growing. So the plan was in place, and that was the beginning of my real estate career in phase one, anyway.
Yeah. So you mentioned Matt, and I do want to get into that, because I know there's an insane story that my uncle told me about how you guys reunited, but I'll save that for later and focus just on you for now. You mentioned the value in working for a commission, and that's a big thing in real estate agents, and when you're selling insurance or a financial advisor, the work that you put in, if you're not getting sales and transactions, then you're not going to get paid. And I think it's really good way for someone to prove their work ethic. I'm curious, obviously your family already had the history in real estate appraisals, but did you ever consider just being an agent and getting commission off that way, or and then also can you touch on the difference between an agent and then a real estate appraisal?
So right. So this is funny. I joke about this with people, because for one, no one ever goes to high school and thinks, boy, you know what? Can't wait to be a real estate appraiser. Yep, that's for me. That's going to be awesome someday. No one ever has ever had that thought. That just doesn't exist. People more readily identify with being a real estate agent or a broker, or but being an appraiser, that just kind of gets lost on. So let me just kind of back up a little bit and kind of paint that broader picture. So the real estate appraiser guy is the guy that actually works for the bank. So for instance, one day you guys are going to go out and buy a house. You find the house, hey, love it. Here's the house of my dreams. I'm going to go buy this house, and you go to the bank and you go, hey, I need a loan for $500,000 to go buy this house that I'm going to get. Great. The bank is going to call up me, Mr. Appraiser guy, and go, hey, go tell us how much that house is worth, because these guys want to buy it for $500,000. There's a real estate agent who listed the house on the market and said, hey, here's a house for sale. They're going to sell it for $500,000. You want to buy it for $500,000, but the bank wants to know, hey, is that house really worth $500,000? Or is it really worth maybe 450? And now we're loaning money on something that's not worth what we think it is. So appraiser guy goes out, appraises the house, right? Comes up with a fair market value. So in this case, in our perfect world, sure enough, hey, the house is worth $500,000. Here's my report. Go back to the bank. Here you go, banker guy. Here's my appraisal that says the house is worth 500. And then you happy as can be because now you get to move into your dream house and you have a loan for $500,000. That's the role of the real estate appraiser. It's super important because a lot of times it's not worth what somebody wants to buy. Now you might have blinders on and go, my gosh, this house is clearly worth 500. Look at this house. It's in a beautiful neighborhood. It's got a swimming pool. It's got a basketball court in the backyard, and it's everything you want. And I gotta have it. And I'm go out there and go, hey fellas, this house is only worth 450,000. You're overpaying. So you're looking with your heart. I'm looking as I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm the unbiased third party. So I'm protecting the bank's interest in this matter. The second time you might need an appraisal in your life is when you got the house and 5 years go by, like, you know what, I want to refinance my house. We've got some equity in it. We've been paying down the mortgage these last 5 years. Property values have gone up. I want to remodel the kitchen and take a vacation to the Bahamas. I'm going to refinance the house and pull some money out. Again, you go to your bank and the bank calls up me, Mr. Appraiser guy, and goes, hey, go tell us how much that house is worth now. Okay, so that house that you bought 5 years ago for 500,000, I go out and appraise it. Okay, now it looks like it's worth more like, maybe 600,000 at this time, or whatever it might be. And great. Now you've got equity right there. You take some money out and you go on with your life. So those are the two most common reasons why you would want or need a real estate appraisal. So yeah, different from a real estate agent, different from a real estate inspector. Because not many people, it's not a hot topic. Matt and I joke about this all the time. Anytime we go to a dinner party or a barbecue and somebody asks us what we do for a living, kind of cringe a little bit. Like, well, I'm a real estate appraiser. And you just see the other people, they just kind of glaze over. They're like, oh, God, okay, how boring. This guy, now I'm stuck talking with the appraiser guy. I'm like, yeah, it's not very exciting to talk about. Matt and I will geek out about it because we love our job. We're passionate about it. If I'm talking to you at a barbecue, you count the minutes before you can get away and go, get away from it, because it's not an interesting topic unless that's the world you live in. So no, there was never, it was never going to be an agent. It wasn't going to be a home inspector. It was always real estate appraisal, just because that was the family business. That was the only direction to go in.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is kind of interesting. Like I never knew it before. Like I talked to my Uncle Matt. I was like, oh, what's a real estate appraisal? I didn't know there was I didn't realize there's so many aspects to you buying and selling a home. I know some homes don't need appraising, I'm pretty sure. But I know it's crazy that all the things that come together. So obviously you had like a lot of experience like working for your family. I personally worked for a family business myself when I was younger. It was my first job, and you learn a lot just from working in a business with your family, because it's like firsthand stuff. What was the transition between like you working for your family and like gaining this experiencing and then realizing like, okay, I can really do this on my own and I can success as a business owner and build my own wealth up individually?
Okay, so boy, I wish we had some time here. I'm gonna give you the short version, but it's gonna end up being longer, I fear. But it's got some good points and some not so good points. So let's start at the good stuff, right? It starts out great because I am building the business. I'm getting more clients. I'm doing more volume. I'm starting to see that show up in my bank account. Great. And now I'm getting excited here because I'm realizing, yeah, the more I work, the harder I work, the more money I can make. And there's not, there's no ceiling here. I can do some damage here. So I realized that this is fine for one person, but if I bring on another person and another person and another person, my income can expand. And not to sound greedy, but greed's not a bad thing. It's okay to want a lot of money, to have a nice house, to drive a nice car. These are all fine pursuits to have. And these are things that I wanted. I wanted a big house. I wanted to be able to travel when I wanted. And looking, I had my dad's experience to look at. Okay, he always worked for himself, and they live in a modest house, and he drives a modest car and has a great life. It turns out better life than I thought, because these guys are like got more money than they know what to do with right now, right? These, being the grandparents that they are, they want for nothing. So I'm like, yeah, that guy did it right. But I'm going to shoot for bigger. I'm going to go for broke here. I'm going to go, a little bit above and beyond here. Shortly thereafter, I came in touch with a guy who I was introduced to as kind of a business professional, that his thing was to help people grow their business. I'm like, great, I want to grow my business. Here's a guy that helps people grow the business. And so we kind of pair up, and for the next, year or 2 years, we work on growing Welch Appraisals. So Welch Appraisals goes from this little small mom and pop type atmosphere to having a big shop in downtown, where we had 5 or 6 staff appraisers. We had, 2 sales guys. We had in-house bookkeeping. We had the IT guy. We had 5 staff cars, okay, balling now, right? I'm on the path, right? We're doing some damage here. This is really good. Except the guy that I was paired up with, and my own fault here, because I did not do my due diligence, was a crook. The guy was a scam artist. The guy embezzled $80,000 from me. He stole from me. We didn't pay our tax obligations to the, we didn't pay our bills. These are things that I thought he was taking care of, to find out that, oh, no, not only is he, scamming money from me, we're not paying the IRS. And I get a call one day from the Ford dealership down the street, because my new Ford F-150 is in and ready for me to pick up. I'm like, what are you talking about? Buying a truck? He goes, yeah, I got your paperwork right. Are you James Welch? Yeah. The truck you bought is here. What? No. He was buying a truck under my name. It's like who does this kind of stuff, right? And it blowed up fast, right? So things come to a crashing halt, like that. And it was actually Matt and the bookkeeper who kind of really brought it to my attention, like this, like, hey, let's peel back the curtain here. Let's look what's really going on. This guy is driving this company in the ground. And I didn't recognize it. I didn't see it. On the surface, it looked like we were growing. And then all of a sudden, when you look at the bank account, where did everything go? So not only was that the problem, I had about $100,000 in payroll to my staff that was due. Didn't have to pay them, no money to pay my staff. So I actually had to get a loan to pay my employees, and then say, oh, by the way, we're all out of business right now. Good luck. Sorry. And now these are people who were counting on me. They had lives, they had families, they had kids. They were depending on me for that livelihood, their income. And I had to look them in the eye and go, hey, guys, this went bad fast. I can point the finger too, but really it's my fault as much as anybody, because it's my name on the door. It's my name on the sides of the cars. It's Welch Appraisals. This is on me. This is my screw up. And Matt was part of that too. And I was like, geez, this is affecting us all. This is a bad day, guys, a bad day. And this is something you don't bounce back from very easily. So to make matters worse, and to kind of, throw in a little bit of my personal life, right before this, about a year before this, I ended up getting divorced. All right. These things happen too. Sometimes that's part of life, unfortunately. Okay. So I'm dealing with that part of my personal life. I'm dealing with this part of my business life. And I'm sitting around looking around going, boy, there's not much good to be had here. What just happened? Everything is gone and it went fast. Now I'm not even at zero. I'm less than zero. And I'm so far down in the hole, I can't even see the sky. So this is problematic, fellas, because I'm not sure how to dig myself out of this hole. To make matters even worse, this was about 2008, 2009. These are important years because this is when the housing market crashed. This is when real estate appraisers all went out of business, essentially, because it just dried up. Business kind of went away. Prior to that, the business and the industry was so good and values had gone up so much and banks had overextended. The example I give you, you want to buy a house for $500,000, the bank calls me up. Banks were over lending on houses. Appraisals were not being done the proper way. So when people lost their jobs or they couldn't pay their mortgage and these homes go back to the banks, and the banks are realizing, hey, all this money we lent for people to buy their homes, these homes aren't worth what we thought they were. So now everything in the housing market crashes. So for the better part of 5 years, that course correction that happens in the market, we're right at the beginning of that. So now it's just 5 years of just not much business to be had. Okay, so let's just recap. Got divorced. Business went down the tubes, in debt up to my eyeballs, and no way to come out of it for the next 5 years because the market has crashed and there's no business to be done. God, that was a bad day, guys. I didn't want to get out of bed. There's nothing to do. I mean, I'm sitting around watching the paint dry on the walls here. I got nothing. And I got an idea. I'm going to start another business. Yeah, let's do that. All right. I'm fired up again. I'm going to kind of recapture my coaching dream in a different way, though. I'm going to start another company called One Team. I love coaching because I love impacting people's lives. I think I could have been really good at it as a college coach. I think I could have been phenomenal, to be honest. But now I go, you know what? I'm going to take the coaching experience that some kids don't get to have and give them this opportunity at the elementary school level. One Team was a before and after school program for elementary school kids. And we did summer and winter camps, right? So at this point, if you were a parent and you had a young child that went to elementary school and you needed a daycare service, you would take your kid to daycare, either before, because parents got to work. So I got to take the kid to daycare, drop them off before school or drop them off after school, whatever it might be. And they basically, it's babysitting for the kids. Okay, what if we gave these kids a chance to be part of a team without being on a team? So that's what One Team was. So we offered after school programs like dodgeball and floor hockey and you know, checkers and chess and all these other kind of games that we just made up for these activities. And we gave them inspirational speeches. We held them accountable as a coach. So there was discipline at our, you know, if you're after school and you're talking, you're not supposed to be talking. Okay, take a lap. Wait, what? This isn't babysitting, guys. No, you're at One Team here. You have expectations here, right? So this is what we incorporated in these kids' lives, and parents loved it. They're like, oh my God, yeah, this is great. Because some kids they're not going to be on a soccer team, or maybe the parents can't afford to put them on a basketball team. Maybe they're just not skilled or they don't have that athleticism to be successful, you know, on those teams. But at One Team, oh yeah, everybody's in. Nobody gets left out. And you're on a team. You're on my team now. All right, now we're high-fiving each other. Now we're doing some good here. Now we're really impacting these kids' lives. In summer camps, great. Now we are doing soccer. We are doing basketball. We're doing the baseball. We're doing traditional sports. We're coaching these kids up. Coach them up like it's the real thing. Like this is no joke. And our program was very well received. Like kids loved us. And we're at several schools, right? We're at now kind of growing pretty fast. We're at all these elementary schools in town here, and I'm hiring on coaches and I'm training them up. So, you come to me, you're not just you're coach so-and-so. So every kid at these elementary schools, they knew me as Coach Amazing. That's who I was. They saw me on the street. Oh, it's Coach Amazing. What's up? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Nobody knew my real name. No, it's like I'm like a superhero, right? We had Coach Awesome. We had Coach Fantastic. We had Coach All-Star. Everybody coach got to pick their own name to suit their identity, right? So, and these coaches were those type of people too. The people we hired. So we're in all these schools. We're kind of growing. We're expanding, and everything kind of has an athletic, component to it. Even after school, even if we're doing checkers and chess. This is one of my favorite ones. If you and I are playing chess and you take my pawn, then the game that we created was like, okay, you take my pawn. Now I got to, get on the floor and I got to do 5 push-ups. Okay, then I'm back up and playing. We're watching these kids playing checkers and chess and taking each other's pieces. And, look, I took your bishop. You owe me 10 push-ups. Yeah, dang, okay. Get down, do 10 push-ups. You get back up. Okay, we're back to it. So there's always an athletic component, health and fitness. This is what we want to incorporate. Guys, best time of my life. I'm coaching these kids. I'm coaching my staff. We're coaching them up. We're building a company. This is great. Now, money coming in, we're paying the staff. We're paying the bills. We have to rent space at these schools. So that's a real cost. We have to buy all this equipment. So, and I had a partner that was helping me with all this. At the end of the day, not a lot of money left over for the owner guy, right? Everybody else is getting paid. Kids love me. Parents love me. I'm looking at my bank account. It's still at zero. Okay, something's not right here. This can't go on too much longer. And I'm okay with that investment. Like, all right, we just gotta build enough momentum here. It's going to take off, and then it's going to be cash. It's just going to start coming in any day now. Well, no, because there's a price point where parents can afford to pay for this program, right? It's like a fixed number. You go $1 too much, and all of a sudden the parents like, now I can't afford it. Okay, so I'm limited to how much I can charge, and I'm limited to how much I can make. I can still grow the company. That doesn't mean any more money is going to come in my pocket, because the expenses are still the same, and what I can charge for the parents to pay for my program is still the same. So now I got a flaw in the system. And now I'm like 5 years into this thing, and I'm scraping by, and I'm like, man, I still got a lot of debt. I got, there's not much in the refrigerator right now, and something's got to change. So this is another part where I have, this is probably the second biggest regret in my life. And I want to stress, like, this was a hard time, but nobody in my life really knew how hard this was. Not my parents, not my friends that were close to me. I had a friend that came over, kind of drop in one day, just hanging out and visit. And she was like, hey, there's nothing in your refrigerator. Where's the food at? No, it's just, I kind of play it off. Okay. The next day I come home from work, there's a cardboard box in front of my front door. It's full of food. Holy cow. Now, it was anonymous. I'm pretty sure it was my friend that was there, the day before, that went to the grocery store and bought me a bunch of food that I, desperately needed and was thankful to have. I'm like, God, thank God I got people looking out for me like that. And my parents were looking out for me. And I had, they just didn't know. Like, nobody knows. Like, that's, you don't get to know that about me. You don't get to know if I'm having a bad day. My struggles don't need to be your struggles. My worries don't need to be your worries, So that was kind of a turning point, kind of a low point, because my son, he's young at this time, and, he's spending time with his mother, and he's coming down, he's spending time with me. And I kind of have to fake it this whole time just to keep up appearances, but I couldn't fake it anymore. Now I'm at another point where got to make a change. Like, this can't keep on. I'm doing what I love, happiest I've ever been in my life. But I gotta shut the door on this. We got to close this up. And so we did. We had to turn off one team. We had to tell, like, the next, finished out the school year and like, okay, parents, sorry, we're out of business. Can't compete anymore. And I got to figure out what to do again. So now I'm like, okay, I need to go back into real estate appraising. There's something there. I can't turn my back on that. I got to go figure that part out again. Well, so much time had gone by, my license had lapsed, right? So I need to apply to the state and retake the test to get my license again. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm not really good at school, guys. so I got to take this test. And I'm like, oh boy, okay. So, I did the classes again and got my mind right. And I go back to the state because now I'm going to go back and be a real estate appraiser. And I take the test like 3 hours. Like this is no joke. And I failed it. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Not really surprised because I'm not, this isn't my wheelhouse. I'm not good at this. But I knew the information. I'm knowledgeable about real estate appraisals. I know this industry. This wasn't foreign. But taking that test, that's different. Okay, go back to the drawing board. I'm going to study up on this even harder. I'll just get it the next time. But you have to wait 30 days to take this test, right? So I got 30 days. Again, I'm watching the paint dry, but I'm studying 8 hours a day, right? That's my day. My job is now to study and be A+ student. All right, I got it now. No more joking around. Go back up. I'm going to take this test. 3 hours of my life, get my license back. Then I'm off and running again. I can't wait. Well, I failed again. Come on. What? You can't. I swore I passed that test. I took all these answers. No problem. You tell me I failed? Yeah, it wasn't even close. You failed by a lot. Oh, come on. This isn't right. All right. No problem. I'm not discouraged. I'll just wait another 30 days. I'm going back. I'm going to study 8 hours a day. I got this. You can't keep me down. Killing myself here, just racking my brains, taking these classes, these practice tests. I got it. Third time's a charm, no problem. This is stupid easy, right? I'm gonna just blow through this. I got it now. I'm done messing around with you jokers. I'm taking this test and I'm going. Yeah, failed it again. I mean, okay, this is I'm out of excuses now, guys. I don't know what to do here. We're at a long stretch of bad things happening, and I don't even like to use that word bad things because that word's not in my vocabulary. But man, not a lot of good to be had here. So I went and try to control your laughter. I went and got hypnotized because this is the key, right? This is how my mind works. I'm going to go get hypnotized on how to pass this test. That's what I need. It's not my fault. It's not me. I need to get in my head better. So I go to this hypnotist guy and I'm like, hey, I failed this test 3 times. The first time I took it, I passed it no problem years ago. But now I can't, somehow I can't even spell my name right. I don't even know what's going wrong with these tests. Hypnotist guy, can you help me? He's like, yeah, I can help you. It's like, wait, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I help lawyers pass their tests for the bar. I help doctors pass their tests for the state boards. I can help you pass this test. How? He goes, I'm going to hypnotize you. We're going to get that information out of you. We're going to bring it up to the top of your head here. It's in there somewhere, right? Yeah. Well, let's get it out of your head. Okay. Hypnotize me. So for an hour, I'm in his office on the chair, right? I'm reclined out like a light. That wasn't hard. Hypnotized. But he records the session, right? He puts it on a CD. He goes, okay, you're hypnotized. Wakes me back up. He goes, you're good to go. Yeah, really? I feel the same. He goes, yeah, okay, you're not, but you're good. Take the CD. I recorded the whole thing. You listen to this every night. Go take your test. Test was in a week. Okay. I listen to that CD every night, kind of gets you back in that frame of mind again. It kind of takes you, get kind of hypnotic and you kind of get in a trance. So a week later, I go take the test, pass it no problem, and I'm good to go. Holy cow. So guys, I got my license. I was excited. I was more ecstatic because this was my first lesson on, hey, your mind is a very powerful tool. There's something going on here that interests me way more than getting my license. Now, I was excited to get my license again, but that actually now is shaping my life, because that's deep. I don't even like, I gotta learn more about that kind of stuff. So I told you this was going to be the short answer. I was going to try to keep it short, but it's going to be a long answer. So now this kind of takes you from the up, the down, and the down, and the back, and now to my license. And now I'm back to square one. Still got to pay off debt. Still got to go conquer the world. But now I realize, hey, I'm getting fired up here, because my mind, my brain can do some powerful things that, this is where I'm learning that your brain tells your body what to do, type thing, right? This is where I learned the power of, hey, there's no bad days. Things aren't hard in your life. They're only hard if you say they're hard. It's only bad if you say it's bad. I'm looking back on 5, 6, 7 years of bad things in my life. I got to get out of this rut, man. I've really screwed up here. I've lost a lot of time because I kept looking at bad day, bad day, bad day. Bad things are hard, bad. This is hard, this is bad. What am I doing to myself, fellas? What a huge mistake. I didn't have to do that. I could have just said, hey, this isn't a bad day. It's just a day. These are just challenges I need to overcome, right? This is just the obstacle in my way right now that I can deal with and move on, and not dwell on the piling on that was happening day after day and letting it happen. I let it happen. I can't believe I'm so mad at myself. So that was really the first transformation of my thinking of and the way I presented myself to the world, the way I attacked each day, how I attacked my job, the enthusiasm that I do everything with. I mean, I get fired up, guys, about everything. You want to know how much I slept last night? I don't, my eyes were closed. I don't think I slept, because I was excited to talk with you guys. Not a joke. Up all night. Eyes were closed, wide awake. Fired up, man. Couldn't wait to go. That's how my life is, right? I don't care what it is. You can't, there's nothing that is going to get me down now, right? This whole process has resulted in one magnificent outcome, because now I'm bulletproof, right? You can't get to me. You can't hurt me. There's nothing. The confidence is so much that, and I tell people this kind of joking, but I keep it to myself. If I'm in a plane and the plane is going down and the pilot's like, hey guys, we're crashing. Okay. I'm going to be the one guy that walks out of there without a scratch. I guarantee you that. And if you're sitting next to me on the plane, there's a good chance you're going to survive too, because I'll make sure you live too. But I know sure as heck I'm walking out of that crash. No joke. That's these experiences in my life. Every day when I wake up, there's nothing I can't handle. You got bad news on me, something really bad happened in your life, something, dog died, car, got in a car wreck, house burned down. Dude, that's not a bad day. That's just a day. And if you're telling me, no, man, that's a bad day, there's nothing, then I'm going to look at you and say, well, then you need to count your blessings. This is a good time to count how many things in your life that you can be thankful for. Let's look at all the positive things. And then when you go to bed that night, even though you got in a car wreck and your dog died and the house burned down and whatever else went wrong in that day, at the end of the day, when you count your blessings, now there's still a lot to be thankful for. It was a good day. So that's what I got out of all of this in my life that went horribly wrong. It went sideways for a long time. Okay, look what I got out of it. Look, I'm this, everybody that knows me, all of my friends, all of my family will tell you from start to finish, there is no positive person that they know than me, right? I'm just that guy. If you need some help, if there's something you need help dealing with, you call me. I'll help you get through it. We just will. We'll find a way. That's how I am with my life. So super thankful for that, right? That's just, wouldn't change a thing. Not to say that I don't have regrets, because I do. I think anybody that says they don't have regrets is either lying or they haven't tried hard enough in their life. Sure, there's going to be regrets. You're going to make a bad decision. Sometimes I was young. I did something stupid. I got off the path of coaching and I should have stayed on it. I regret that. With one team, I closed that shop up because I didn't see a financial way to make it go for it. I think I should have put more effort into that. I think I could have found a way. I should have found a way to keep that going. That was awesome. But my life is pretty awesome now too. So, I'll wrap up. I kind of sum up the story by kind of painting the bigger picture and recapping. I've had the big house on the hill, right? I've had a 5,000 square foot house. Used to take every Friday off and take the boat and go boating every Friday. Took great vacations, living a great life. All that is gone, lost it all. I'm in my apartment right now. I look around, I live in a 600 square foot apartment, 1 bedroom, minimalist, minimalist to the point where if I buy a new shirt, I got to take an old shirt and get rid of it just because there's no room for it in my closet. You know what I mean? Like this is the life. I have more than I need right now than I ever have. This 600 square foot apartment to me is more, I don't even know what the right word is. It's more fulfilling to me than my 5,000 square foot house up on the hill that I used to have. You know what I mean? The relationships I have with my friends and family, far more impactful now. The experiences I have in my life, way more valuable than money that I have in the bank, right? This is the life for me. Still doing real estate appraising, still trying to tear up the world. And I'm just not done yet. I got more to give in my life. Like we're just getting started. I'll be 50 on my next birthday. I haven't even hit my stride yet, fellas. I'm just getting started, right? Things are going to be really great. And I don't even know with what yet. But something, I tell you that. It's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack, man. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for taking the long route and telling us the long story, because there was so much detail in there. I think all of it was necessary. So that was amazing.
Yeah. I think it's so powerful how, like you said, it was literally failure after failure after failure. And it really shaped you to like learn how to see yourself as being invincible, as no matter what happens, you still have something to be thankful for. But one thing that really stuck out to me was you had that partner who helped you grow that business, and all along, like, you put your trust in him, you worked with him, and just to find out that like he was a crook and he was stealing from you. And so, like, how do you recover from something like that, where you had a business partner that you put your trust in, and it was all like for nothing, like he stole something from you? So how do you like learn to trust someone again to work with after that?
So after that had happened, the person came up to me and said, "Wow, I bet you'll never do that again, huh?" I was like, "Do what again?" "Well, I bet you'll never, get a business partner. I bet you won't ever make that mistake again, huh?" No. Yeah, I'll do it again. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I take on a business partner? Why wouldn't I try again? Are you kidding me? The biggest successes have always come after the biggest failures, right? Yeah. You think I'm going to stop because of that? That was nothing. That was one guy. My fault because I didn't do my due diligence to kind of background check that guy a little bit further. Actually found out he'd done this to a lot of companies. I could have Google searched this guy and figured that out, but good God, idiot. Okay. But wouldn't hesitate to do it again. Just wouldn't. You can't not try again. You can't. There's no point in that. My son, I'll give you this. He's 19 years old. He's actually a sophomore at Arizona State, so young like you. Got his whole life in front of him. The thing that I hope the most for him, as well as you, as anybody else, God, I hope you guys fail a lot, right? You just have to. You have to fail a lot to have those successes. They're unavoidable, for one. So don't fool yourself and think you're going to miss out on that. No, you're going to get blindsided. Something's going to happen. Take your feet out from under you. It's just going to happen. But fellas, there's a real energy in the universe. There's a real power there that you have to tap into. And I believe this. I know this to be true, that this energy that I believe exists, the way of the universe, that you kind of have to put yourself in a line with these good, positive things to happen, right? So if you want to manifest, and I love the title, manifest, for your success. Spot on, fellas. Good job on the title.
Thank you.
This is on you. This is a real thing. So don't kid yourself and think that this happens on accident. No, there's the real energy out there in the world that you, again, purposefully have to align yourself with. You have to put your mind and your thoughts out there to connect with these things to happen. So you don't need to figure out what the next business is going to be, or the partner, or how it's going to work again, or how do you trust in somebody else. You just have to know that I'm putting out these thoughts and this energy, and the universe is going to take care of that for me. It sounds maybe kind of woo-woo and kind of out there, whatever. It's not. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, even if you don't believe it to be a real thing. And I'll give you a story that proves it. And I'll use my son again. So my son, he wants to be a basketball coach. Believe me, nobody can be happier than that than me. Yeah, go do that. So this guy goes to Arizona State and sees a flyer in his dorm on the wall that they're looking for practice players for the women's basketball team to beat up on so they can practice. So he's like, oh, great, I'm going to go do that. So he goes down there and actually ends up talking with one of the assistant coaches and goes, yeah, I'm happy to be a practice player for your girls to practice on, but I really want to be a coach any way I can kind of take on more responsibility. And they're like, yeah, we will help you, show you, we'll kind of guide you and help mentor you, and we'll shed some light for you. So for his first year at ASU, he's on the staff. He's one of the team managers. He's got some responsibility. He's given some input. He's learning and watching and taking it all in, right? He's learning it. At the end of the year, the head coach retires. Same kind of like my situation. Like, God, I know, I can relate. And I tell him, don't get off the path. Joe, my son's name's Joe. Don't get off the path. You're doing the right way. Stay on it. So the head coach retires. They hire a new head coach, cleans house. All the assistant coaches, gone. Head coach, gone. Staff, gone. He's like, now he's got no connection there anymore. Everything he knew that to count on has just walked out the front door. He's got nothing, but he still wants to be a coach. So he looks around, and he sees there's another NAIA school, university in Arizona down the street, 20 minutes away. It's called Park University. Blindly, he gets on the email and he emails the head coach. Hey, coach, my name's Joe Welch. I've got limited experience here, but I've been with ASU women's basketball team. I want to coach, as a career. Is there any way I can be part of your staff? And I'm willing to work for free. I can do whatever, please help, basically. Coach responds in 5 minutes, goes, yeah, come in for an interview on Thursday. She was like, what, really? He goes in on Thursday. This is the really interesting part. The coach, the day that my son emailed him looking for anything, that coach was contacted by his athletic director, who said, hey, we're a newer university. We need you to hire more staff to help with the basketball program to make it a success moving forward down the years. So my son goes in for an interview. The coach goes, hey, this is really weird because it's a new university. They don't got a lot of money. So to pay a coach, it's going to be very little, if anything, right? Still need a full-time job because it's demanding, right? It's not, even though we're not going to pay you hardly anything, we still need you here full-time. So the head coach is like, who am I going to get to fill this position to be on my staff? This is an impossible task. And he goes back to his office, and there's an email from my son going, hey, I'm willing to do whatever you want, basically for free. That's the universe, guys, putting them on the same way. That's that energy that two people had, didn't even know it. Like it wasn't like they met up. Now my son, he's off and running. He's a sophomore at ASU, but he's an assistant basketball coach at the NAIA school down the street. He's living his dream. He's on his path to success. He's manifesting his own success and his destiny. And that happened because those two guys were putting out that same energy at the same time, and the universe lined them up and goes, yeah, this is how it's going to work. Guys, that's a real thing. That's not an accident. That's not dumb luck. That was the universe putting them in a line and it working out. These things happen every single day, over and over and over. You just have to know how to tap into it and find it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't really you say so much and I don't know how to like unpack it all. I'm curious, like we're coming up on it's 9 a.m. Are you okay if we go a little bit over?
As much as you want, guys. I'm all
okay, awesome. I just want to double check. So I'm curious, like if someone you talk about like having this mindset of like positive energy, and I mean you got stolen from, you went through a divorce and 2008 all in the same time zone, and I mean that's like I don't know how much worse it can get after that. And there's other people now that are just like dealing with either smaller things in their life that there's probably not even near the downfall that you went through. What would you say to someone that's like having trouble like looking at the positive in life? And if they're like whatever, if they get fired from their job or something, like what would you advise them? Like how do they really change their mindset? Or is it really just telling yourself, okay, I need to conquer this? Like what is the thing you would say to someone?
Yeah, little changes are going to go a long way. So if you learn nothing else from today, fellas, know this: lose the word bad and hard from your vocabulary. Don't need them. They don't help. Lose them. Don't ever use them again. They're not helpful words. So yeah, things might, be hard or bad for somebody. They might have whatever obstacle that they need to overcome, but we're going to change these hard and bad things to challenges that we need to deal with and obstacles that they can overcome. And I hate to say it, but it really is just flipping that switch. You can go to bed tonight and decide to wake up tomorrow to be a different person. That easy. And it's that easy. It's not a fundamental change where you need to go to some, week-long retreat and have some guru from a mountaintop impart this magical wisdom on you. And all of a sudden you don't need to be hypnotized, although it helps to get in the right mind for it. You can just make these decisions yourself. But it is the way you live your life, right? You do have to remind yourself every once in a while. Every once in a while, I need to kick myself in the tail and go, whoa, what am I doing? I got to let's refocus here and get back on track. Everybody's going to slip now and then, right? So when you're coming across that, and people, I see like, I just don't have it in me. I just can't do that. I just want to shake them by the shoulders. I go, you free? Of course you can. Of course you can. Yes, it's not that hard. And I hate to quote my favorite quote, Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, guys, either way, you're right. That's brilliant, right? Okay, I'm going to go with that for a while because I'm just going to think I can. And if I think it long enough, well, yeah, I'm right. And you can't tell me different because I've lived it too long to know that these changes are real, that this isn't just a fad. This isn't just like an infomercial. I'm trying to sell you the magical juice. Guys, it's not like that. This is your life, and it can be however you want. It really can. It's, I'm going to ask you a question here. And I want you to think about it. You won't be able to answer it right now, but it's something you talk about. There's a lot to unpack. This one's going to take a while to unpack. I want you to think about this. I want you to answer this question for yourself at some point here in the next week or so. I want you to ask yourself, what is your potential? Not what is your purpose in life, right? Not where are you here. What is your potential? Okay. I ask myself that question. You're young, I'm older. Different for me than it is for you, but it's still the same question. When you're at a starting point in your life, when you think about what is my potential, it could be your physical potential, your academic potential, your business potential, like whatever, many different categories here of potential. Man, sometimes this is a question you might not even need to verbalize to somebody else, but you do need to answer it for yourself, right? You can't lie to yourself, right? When your head's on the pillow and your eyes are closed and the truth is going to come out and what your potential is. Now, it's obviously going to be different for everybody. And it's not something that can get solved really quickly because your potential might take years to fulfill. Well, that's okay. That's no problem, right? I'll tell you the trick to make it all come true, though, and it's really simple. You just don't quit. You don't stop. You may have aspirations. Your potential might be to fly airplanes. Okay. A lot of potential there to be had. I don't know where, as an example, it's going to take a long time to fulfill that potential. And the potential might be just to, hey, I want to fly and land an airplane. That's what I think I got in me. Or maybe it's more than that. And you want to fly commercial, you want to fly jets, you want to be great at, oh, okay. Doesn't matter. You don't even need to tell anybody. You got to tell yourself. You have to answer that question for yourself and figure out where your potential lies. Because trust me, fellas, you don't want to get to the end of the road of your life. You don't want to live 100 years and be on that last day and go, man, I think I left some things on the table back there. There was a time in 2022 where I didn't fulfill my potential. I let some things go. And you do not want to have that regret when you're taking your last breath. You want to go, man, I gave it everything I got. I got the most out of my life. And what a wild ride it was. Yeah, that's what I want. So ask yourself that question regularly. No wrong answers. There's no failures here as long as you don't quit. If you bail on it, now you may pivot, it may change, it may go in a different direction, fine. But if you quit on it, well, you let yourself down. And if you were in my living room, it might be just an excuse for me to punch you in your throat and shake some sense into you and go, hey, knucklehead, get back with it. You're not done yet. There's more good to be had here. Let's go on this journey together. Let me help you, right? So use that as a guiding point, right? Let's not talk about goals, because goals are things that, if you don't achieve, you feel like you failed for some reason, right? I'm all for having a direction in life and having point and being, living a purposeful life, having a direction. I don't want to fail at a goal and feel like I failed somehow just because I came up a little bit short, but I still accomplished something really good, right? So I like having direction. I like testing myself in life. Again, you ask anybody else, I'm that guy that always tests myself. I'm willing to push the limits to see what I can do physically, with mentally, what things I can do in my personal and business careers. This is what makes life exciting. But you got to have some direction. You don't necessarily need a goal, and you need to make sure you fulfill your potential. Just keep that in your mind, fellas.
Thank you for that. That was really insightful. I think another thing that I've also heard a lot is like, don't get comfortable. And I think it also like applies to everything you just said, is like, you can't just get comfortable with where you are. Like, push yourself further and further in life and seek discomfort in your life, because that's how you really grow as a person. I'm curious. So obviously Uncle Matt touched on this a lot off the record, and he told the story of you. This goes right in line with the universe lining up for people's success. And they said that how you and Uncle Matt were tight. You were his assistant coach, and you guys split paths. And then you guys, I'm just kind of glossing over it to let you kind of tell the story. And then you guys met at like some public fair or something. Does that sound familiar to you?
Well, that was actually the head coach that was there. I think you might have been talking about. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, to recap that story just a little bit. So Matt and I met when he was a basketball player at the community college here in town. I was the assistant coach, and I'll just spotlight just a few things, because Matt was a standout, right? There's whatever, 12, 15 guys on the court, playing basketball. Matt was a standout for a reason that he might not necessarily think. It wasn't because, of the great basketball ability, although he was a great player. It was his work ethic, right? Second to none, this guy. There was nobody that could stand in this guy's shadow. He outworked everybody every day, all the time. So when I first wanted to kind of expand my business, I'm realizing I need to surround myself with good people. And this is where Matt was the first one. We're like, in order to be successful, you need to have good, successful people around you. So I know he's got a good work ethic. I've seen it every day. I'm just watching. I'm in awe, literally, because he's doing things that no one else is doing when no one else is watching. I noticed. So I gave him an opportunity to say, hey, and it just started out like, I need some help around the house. I got some odds and ends, some jobs, maybe I can pay you just a little bit of money to help him along. This is where our journey, him and I, began, was early on, was just right there. But the point I also want to make is that he was such a good person that, again, this kind of attracts those other kind of good people around you when it just kind of grows that way. So we that was the beginning for us. And it got not much longer. I think he came to me. I'm not sure if I offered to him or if he came to me, like, because he seen what I was doing as a real estate appraiser and wanted a job. Like, yeah, no problem. You're hired. Don't know how we're going to make this work, but you're in, right? All of Matt's success, he is 100% earned. And my job now is just watching him earn and enjoy his life and his success and help him along his path and his journey, So there's a lot of gratitude, or, I take a lot of satisfaction rather from watching him. I tell him I live vicariously through him because one, he's a phenomenal golfer and I'm not. So I love watching him, be successful on the golf course. I love watching him be successful in his business life. And, he's got a great family. He's doing everything the right way. And I can be more proud of that guy.
Yeah. I only met him one time, and he was he was a standout guy, and that he was so hospitable to someone he met for the first time. And like Kyle said, we stayed up till 3 a.m. talking about like life and success and all that. But we want to be respectful to our viewers, because it's coming up on an hour and 15 minutes here, and we got to unpack all the things that you've taught us in this episode. Right. So we normally end with one final question, which is what is one goal that you have in your career or personal life, and what steps are you taking to achieve it?
Right. So again, I'm going to steer away from having goals, but just having that direction in your life. But I'll tell you things I'm excited and interested about now. So, I've since remarried and been very fortunate to find somebody, I guess, one that can put up with me, but also can kind of back and share the same kind of direction and goals that we can, work together on. And guys, that's important too, right? I mean, we're all going to be old and gray one day on the front porch, in rocking chairs, watching the world go by. And you got to have somebody, that can go along this journey of life with you. That's a good compliment to you. And my wife is absolutely fantastic. She actually works with me. We work together. She's the brains behind the operation, because she keeps the office going. The office being our little laptops here in our little 1-bedroom apartment, right? She keeps the business going and makes it so I can go out and do the appraisals and man, as a team, we work really well together. But beyond that, what I'm excited about is when we talk about our next step, what is our life, going to be? What purposeful steps are we going to do for the next chapter in our life? Now, again, I'm going to be 50 on my next birthday. Guys, I plan to be 100, 105, 110. I got a lot of living left to do, right? There's no quit. So the journey is still long. We're looking at things like maybe we want to invest in more real estate. Maybe we want to, buy some vacant land and maybe develop it. Maybe we want to move to a different part of the world and experience living in different cities and different areas for a different amount of time. We want to keep all of our options open, and we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up to have the ability to do that. So, guys, you never stop learning, right? You always have to be reading the self-help books. There's always somebody's already done what you want to do. So you need to find those that have done it and read their books and ask them their questions and find out who's been successful and duplicate that. So we're really enjoying this process now of educating ourselves on real estate investments, on other parts of the world where the economy is different, in the housing markets in different areas. My wife and I, we read 2 books at a time. We read one for pleasure and one for personal growth, right? I love them both, man, but the one for personal growth, guys, I get fired up, man. I can read this stuff and then my mind starts going and I get some outlandish ideas. And my wife is the one that, kind of does the no, stay back in the lane. Come on. Okay, let's not get too crazy. I'm like, oh no, let's buy a restaurant. We can do this. We can do it. Okay, let's just breathe for a second. Okay. So I'm super thankful that she's in my life, but that's our next future, right? That's our next chapter. How we get there, I don't know. I don't need to figure that out right now. That's not important. I just need to figure out the next step. The next step is reading some books and getting a little bit more knowledge. That's all I need to focus on. I don't need to figure out from start to finish. I just need to know the very next step. So right now we're on step one, figuring out our next adventure.
Right. And yeah, I think that transitions perfectly. I mean, not that you haven't provided enough knowledge and benefit to anyone listening in ourselves, but you mentioned like some books. So what are like your favorite books that you think have really like changed your perspective, or like that really you just resonate with you, that you maybe gift a lot?
Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I hate recommending books to people because you never know if they're going to be receptive of it. The only person this works with is your Uncle Matt. Matt can refer a book to me and I can refer a book to him. And without a doubt, I'll read it, whatever he recommends, and he'll read whatever I read, because we're on that same, like it's going to be golden. I can recommend the same book to another friend of mine, like, that's stupid. Why are you giving me that? Yeah. Okay. You weren't ready to receive that yet. That's fine. So I get kind of hesitant on that. But the one book that started it all off for me was, and it's not a new book. It's The Secret. It's the title. It's called The Secret. And it's basically, it's about the law of attraction, kind of what we talked about here, tapping into the universe. And I'll finish up this whole interview here with just this last example on how this works, on how the law of attraction works. And I'll prove it to you because I had to prove it to myself. So in the book, it talks about, hey, how your mind tells your body what to do. And sometimes you need to test these theories because you read it, but does it really work? Okay, so yeah, it really works. I got this book, and this was years ago. A week before I got this book, I bought the ab wheel, right? The ab wheel is the wheel with the handles on the side, and you get down on your knees, and it works your abdominal muscles, right? So I got the ab wheel, and I maxed out to see how many I can do. Excuse me. I could do 20. I go, man, I mean, barely. Like I eked out 20, and like I collapsed on the floor with stomach cramps for like an hour. Like, oh my God, that's like the hardest thing I've ever did. But you know, I was out of shape, and I'm like, I got to lose some of these love handles here. So I read the book, the Secret, and it talks about, hey, how your mind tells your body what to do. I go, okay, well, let's see if that's a real thing. I need to put something so outlandish that if it happens to come true, then I know it's real. I go, okay, at the end of the week, 7 days, I'm going to do the ab wheel again, but I'm going to do it 100 times, not 20. My mind is going to tell my body I can do it 100 times. And if I can do that, then okay, that'll be a real thing. So again, I'm all in 2 feet, fellas. I didn't touch the ab wheel. I set it aside for 1 week. Every day, the only thought that went through my head constantly, 100, 100. I'm going to do this 100 times. It's going to be easy, no problem. 100, like that number was always through my head. The visualization every night, I would spend just thinking of actually doing each rep 100 times and how it was easy and how it was no problem. And I could get that goal. It's going to be a piece of cake. So the end of the week comes. I go, okay, the last time I did this, I did 20, and it was everything I had to get 20. So here I am. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get 100. I blew myself out of the water because, guys, I did 100, and I don't even know how. I mean, so I did 100 in a row. I didn't take a break. I didn't stop halfway through and rest. I didn't get a drink of water. It was 100 straight on this ab wheel. And fellas, I didn't have abs, right? I had love handles. That's what I had. But somehow I was able to do 100. And are you kidding me? A week ago, I could barely do 20, and I died. I killed myself. How now? What changed in 7 days that I did 100? What was my mind? I got out of my own way. I stopped telling myself it was hard. I stopped telling myself it was going to be impossible. I said, no, it's going to be easy. I can do this. I visualized it. So by the time I came to do it, I've already done it 1,000 times in my head. I've already seen myself accomplish this 1,000 times in my head. Why wouldn't I be able to do it right now on the floor here on this given day? Well, yeah, of course I can. No problem. Holy cow, guys, that's a real thing. That's the power of the universe. It's law of attraction. It works. So I proved it to myself. I hope that, you know, you can kind of look at that and go, oh man, maybe there's some truth to that. Because there is. I promise you. Good stuff.
All right. Well, yeah, that was a great wrap up. I mean, I couldn't be more thankful for your time, and we learned so much, and I'm sure everyone that listened to this just did as well. Thank you for thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, guys, you know what? My pleasure. So happy to be here with you guys, and I'm not even kidding. I am fired up. You guys are onto something good here. You know, the title alone, you guys, you know, manifesting your success. You guys are on the right path. I can tell. And I wish you all the success and luck in the world. I think there's some really, really good things, you know, coming down the road for both of you. And I'm excited to see how things are going to turn out for you. So hopefully we can keep in touch.
All right. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
All right.
Catch you next time.